Hello, we're ready to get started for our word problem of the day. So go ahead and get your problem set up on your whiteboards or on a piece of paper. You're going to set it up like we usually do, but this time you're going to write the word Cubs on the side. Get that set up and then we'll get started. So here's our problem for today. Prince was playing basketball. He scored 14 points in the first half and 6 points in the second half. How many points did he score in all? So what we're going to do is start with the C. We're going to circle our numbers. So I saw the number 14 and I saw the number 6. The reason we're circling those numbers is so that it draws our attention to them. We know those are the numbers that we're working with. Then we can go ahead and cross off the C. Now we need to go to the U. We need to underline the words that help us to understand what we're doing. So we always, not always, but most of the time, look in the question. So it says, how many points did he score in all? The two words in all are the ones that help us to know that we're going to add them together. So we're going to be adding. We're going to cross off the U. Now we're going to box the question. The question again is that sentence that starts with a capital and ends with a question mark. So here's my capital here, and it goes all the way down there. So go ahead. Well, you won't box that, but I'm going to box that. And then I'm going to cross off the B. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to solve the problem. That's where you come in. You're going to help me solve the problem doing it this way. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to draw our picture first. We're going to draw 14. Now, we're going to do it using the 10 frames. So go ahead and draw yourself 14. Remember, 14 is going to be, that's right, 10, 4. So we're going to do 10 in our 10 frame. And then we're going to have 4 on the outside, right? Just like that. Remember, you have to draw it so that it's organized. Nice straight lines. Remember that in your 10 frame, there's only 5 on top, 5 on the bottom, okay? Now, we need to draw 6 more because he scored 6 in the second half. So, I'm going to use X's for these. Remember, we use 2 different things so we can tell which part is which. And, again, we're going to be drawing it on the outside. But, keep in mind that I can only have 5 on the top. So I already have 4. I have 1 more here. So now I've got to add my 6. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What did you notice? I sure hope you noticed that we have another full 10 frame. So I have 10 here plus 10 over here. 10 plus 10 is, you guessed it, 20. So 20 is my answer. I'm pretty sure. So now we're going to come down here and we're going to fill in our number bond. So we said that he scored 14 in the first half. We're going to label that F for first half. Then he scored 6 in the second half, and we're going to label that S for second half. Then we want to know how many points he scored altogether. So what we're going to do is we're going to punch our bigger number and count up. So 14 is our bigger number. We're going to punch 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's right, we landed on 20. So we put our 20 here, and then we have to put our 20 in the box. Okay? Now, our number sentence. Now watch how we're going to do this. We're going to do it the way we've learned to do it just recently. We have 14 plus 6. Okay? Now, we're going to break down the 14 into 10s and 1s, just like we've been doing. But I want you to stop and think, what are we adding it to? Are we adding it to a 1-digit number or a 2-digit number? It's a 1-digit number. So if it's a 1-digit number, we know that those are 1s. And we know that we're going to put our 1s closest to the 6. So we're going to put a caret underneath the 14. We're going to put 10, 4, because we know 10, 4 is 14. Now we can go ahead and circle our 1s. So we have 6 plus 4 equals, that's right, 10, because you know that's a friend of 10. And then we're going to bring that 10 down here, and we have to add it to the number we didn't use, which is the other 10. 10 plus 10 is 20. I'm going to put a box around it to remind me it goes here. I want to draw your attention, though, to the center boxes. I want you to notice that I'm filling them in as I go. I'm not filling them in all at one time. And I want you to also notice that I've come up with the same answer, okay? So now we have to answer our final question. how many points did he score in all? We're going to say he scored how many points? 20 points. And we're going to put a period there. He scored 20 points. Put the 20 here in the center, and then you can cross off your S. That, my friends, is a complete answer. And that shows that you have an understanding of how you came up with your answer. I know that some of you could do this in your head. I get it. I totally get it. But as you go through the grades, you're going to need to show your work. That's the reason I have you do it this way. There's always a reason. There's always a method behind my madness, honestly. So hold on. We're going to go on to the next part of our video. All right, so what I want to do now is just go over that good old-fashioned way of doing a problem. And I want you to remember the important part is to line things up properly. Now, I chose these two because they're a little trickier, and I want to make sure that you're lining things up right. So the first one we're going to do is 33 plus 6. So remember, I've got to rewrite my problem so that it's going up and down. Now, I want you to take a look. We know 33 is pretty easy to write, 33. But here's where it gets tricky. Where does the 6 go? Does the 6 go here? Does the 6 go here? Does it go somewhere in between? Where does it go? What is it? Is 6 tens? Are they 6 ones? What are they? So you need to stop and think about that. The way we're going to do that is we're just going to draw ourselves a little tens and ones frame, and then we can go from there. So we know 6 is under 10, right? It's lower than 10. So what you're going to do is understand that anything from 0 all the way up to 9 is going to be ones. Anything 10 and over are going to be your tens. So let me repeat that. So the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are going to be your ones. But then once you get to 10 and above, those are your tens. So I have 6 here, so that's going to be a 1. So I'm going to put the 6 here. Now, you could put a 0 there as a filler, so we could just put that here just as like a space filler so you see that. But generally we don't say 0, 6, we just have 6. So then we're going to put our plus sign out here and then draw our line underneath. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add our ones. And I usually tell you, take the bigger number and then count on. I don't necessarily have to go 3 plus 6 because you know 3 plus 6 is the same as 6 plus 3. So let's do 6 plus 3. 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have 9 ones, don't I? Now let's look at our tens. I have 3 tens, and then there's no tens here. So how many tens do I have down here? It's the same as adding 3 plus 0, which again is going to be 3. So I know my answer here is 39. So do you see how I had to line that up? Now, let's take a look at this one. 25 plus 24. Now, again, I can write it so that the 5 is first, but I generally like to write it so that my bigger number is on top. It's just the way I do it. You can do it whichever way you want. But what we're going to do is we're going to write 24. And again, we're going to take a look at that 5. So now keep in mind, are 5 ones or are the 5 tens? Well, when I write it, after I draw my tens and ones frame, I look at that and go, it's less than 9, so it has to be ones. So I'm going to put the 5 here, and I'm going to put my plus sign here. Now, I'm going to add my ones. So my question is, can I do 4 plus 5? Yeah, you could. Or should you do 5 plus 4? I would do 5 plus 4 because 5 is the bigger number. So you're going to do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I know 9 is my answer here. And now I go to my tens. 2 plus, remember, this is like having a 0 here. So 2 plus 0 is 2. So my answer is 29. See how I did that? So again, Be organized with your math. It's the most important thing you can do to make sure that your answers come out right. So today's lesson is going to be a little tricky. You've been used to just adding the two numbers that you're given. Today's lesson is not like that. You have to stop and think what it is that the question is asking you. So let's start with this problem I want to show you. It says Sam caught 16 fish. He brought home 7 fish. How many fish did he put back in the lake? Now, did you catch what I said? So it's not asking you how many fish he has in all or altogether. It didn't say that at all. It's asking you how many he put back. So let's go through our cubs and let's talk about what it's asking. So we're going to circle our numbers. We're going to circle the 16 and the 7. And then we're going to cross off our C because those are the numbers that are popping out at us. Now, here's where it tells us what we're doing. Let's look at the question to underline our important words. How many fish did he put back in the lake? What do you think the important words are? If you said put back, you're absolutely right. So I want you to think about these two words, put back. Now, if I have something and I put some back, that means that I'm going to end up with something smaller than what I had, right? So if I have something smaller than what I had, that means I'm going to be subtracting, because what I'm doing is basically taking my total, taking a part out, and that leaves me with the other part. Remember, one part plus another part equals my total. But if I start with my total and take one part out, I'm left with the other. So now we need to just box our question. So how many did he put back in the lake is what it's asking us. All right, so what do you draw first? Think about what it's asking. What do you draw first? Well, it says he caught 16 fish, but he came home with 7. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw the 16, okay? And we're going to draw it using a 10 frame. So here's my 10. I'm going to break it up into 10, 6. So there's my 16. Now, we know that that's my total. One of the parts is the 7 fish that he brought home. So what I have to do is I have to, out of that 16, take 7 of them out of there so that I know how many that he put back into the lake. So I'm going to cross off 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now here's my question for you. Why didn't I cross off 7 over there? That's right. If you said that, well, we only had 6, that's why. I had only 6. I needed to cross off 7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now box what I have left over here. So I have 3 over here plus what I have out here, which is 6. So what is 3 plus 6? Or keep in mind, we could go 6 plus 3. So we have 6, 7, 8, 9. So I think my answer is 9. But what we're going to do is we're going to now do our number bond. So let's think about what it says. Sam caught 16 fish. So here's the 16 that he caught, and we're going to label that F for fish. Then what I'm going to do is put 7 here because that's how many he brought home, and I'm labeling that H for home. Now I need to figure out how many he put back. So let's take a look at how I can do this. I can punch 7 and count up to 16, or I could punch 16 and count backwards 7. So which way do you think is the best way to do it? In my mind, it's best to punch 16 and count 7 because it seems to me like it's quicker. Okay? So let's do that. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. I landed on 9. Does 9 look familiar to you? It should, because that's the answer we came up with up here. Okay? Now, we're going to do our number sentence. This ties directly into what you drew in the first place. So, how many did we draw that he started with? How many fish did he catch? He caught 16. And if you're ever questioning it, go back up into your problem. We're going to take out the number that he brought home. Or we could look here and say, oh, well, we crossed off 7. So 16 minus 7, we just figured out by punching out here, is 9. And we're going to put a box around that and go ahead and put that there. Now, the last thing I need to do is answer the question. How many fish did he put back in the lake? He put 9, and I'm going to put a box around it, fish back. Does that answer my question? Absolutely it does. And then I can go ahead and cross this off. Again, make sure your numbers match here. But you have to listen to what it's asking you. That's the most important thing you can do for word problems. What is the problem asking? Don't answer something that's not being asked of you. Now, let's take a look at your homework. So let's take a look at problem number 1. 9 dogs were playing at the park. Then there were 11 dogs. How many more came to the park? So I'm going to go ahead and circle my numbers, which I did here, 9 and 11. What I want to draw your attention to is the fact that they wrote out the word 9 instead of the number 9. So when you see that, what you can do is actually write the number next to it so you know what it is. And then go ahead and cross off the C. Now, we're going to underline the important words. The important words are usually found in that question. So how many more came to the park? The word you're looking for is more. We want to know how many came after they had gotten there, because they got there with 9, but then some more came, and all of a sudden they have 11. So we have to figure that out. We can go ahead and cross off the U. Then we're going to box the question and cross off the B. And now we're ready to go ahead and do our problem. Now, my question for you is, which one is our total? Is it 9 dogs or is it 11 dogs? If you said 11, you're absolutely right, because we ended up with 11. We didn't start with that, but we ended up with that, and that's what our total is going to be. So we're going to draw 11 using our 10 frame. So I have 10 here and then 1 here. Okay? Now, what do I do with the 9? Remember, I'm trying to find out how many more. So I have this 11, and I need to grab that 9 and separate them. So if I'm separating them, that means I have to take away. So I'm going to be crossing out 9. I can't cross 9 out here. There's only 1. So I have to cross out 9 here. So go ahead and cross out your 9 and put a box around what you have left. So I have 1 left in the box and 1 left outside the box. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 is my answer. Now, let's do our number bond. So here's my number bond right here. I know that 11 was what we started with, and we're going to label that D for dogs. We know the other part was 9 that were, I'm going to say P for playing, right? So we had 9 dogs playing. We need to find out how many more came. So this is going to be M for more. How many more? So we can punch 11 and count backwards 9, but that seems like a lot. So instead we're going to punch 9 and count up to 11 because it's quicker. 9, 10, 11. See how quick that was? So we're going to put 2 here. Does the 2 match? Yes, it does. Now, what we need to do is we need to make our number sentence. So again, go back to your drawing. How many did we draw first? We drew 11. We took out 9 of them, and we were left with how many? 2. Put a box around it. Put that here. And then again, they already gave us our statement, so all we have to say is 2 more dogs came to the park. And then go ahead and cross off your S because you solved your problem. Please, please, please don't shortcut it, meaning don't leave out parts. I want to see your work. Your teachers want to see your work. So make sure you do all of it. So there's 6 problems again, I believe. And let's see here. Yep, 6 problems. So I don't think that's too bad. If you have any problems, let us know. We can help you. And make sure you get pictures of your work and send it into your teacher.